Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal, Mr. Butter, coming back at you. The year 2023 is finally coming to an end. Because of that, I would like to do some of my top sneakers of this year list. Whenever you think of sneaker collabs, New Balance might not be the top brand that pops into your head, but they are quietly killing it, and these collabs are all absolute fire. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at my top 3 New Balance collab pickups of 2023. So before we get into the first one, I am just going to do these in the order in which I picked them up. This will be the order that they dropped this year and the order with which I bought them. At the end, I'm going to do an honorable mention for a couple of pairs, and I'll explain why they didn't make my list. But let's go ahead and get started. All right, to start it off, we have the Bricks & Wood 9060. I want to show these boxes because each box has special packaging. On the thumbnail, I just grabbed some of the GR gray boxes because I didn't want to give it away of what shoes I was going to be reviewing. But this first pair is going to be the Bricks & Wood 9060. I believe the founder of Bricks & Wood is named Casey Lynch. Bricks & Wood really wasn't on my radar at all prior to this release. I just really like the look of these shoes. However, I did a little bit of research at the time that these dropped, and everything that I saw from Bricks & Wood I really liked. I think this company really got a lot of momentum and started to take off whenever Tyler, the Creator, wore one of their beanies or something whenever he was performing. It's not a brand that I've been familiar with for a long time. Really, they weren't on my radar at all prior to this release. But the box is really cool looking. You can see that you've got bricks and little sticks, which I guess represents the wood. Then 9060. It's got like a little house on the side of it, and all over the box it's got dual branding. It really came out cool. They called these nothing changed but the address, and we also got some extra laces and dual branding on the paper as well, both Bricks & Wood and New Balance. And that box is cool, but these kicks are absolutely incredible. I really love the design of these, and this colorway is just so clean, and materials are as good as it gets on these. Personally, I think this is one of the most premium collabs that I picked up this year, both with the design but also just with all the materials used. I love this light tan and gray. And I don't know if you can see it on screen or not, but all of this mesh that looks like netting, that's all reflective. It's got like a really cool rainbow effect whenever the sun catches it just right, but it glows like crazy. I'm actually wishing that I would have put sunglasses on because it's kind of blinding me right now, but it really glows. All of this netting behind the end, you just see it throughout the whole shoe. I think that netting paired with the premium gray suede and nubuck on this upper, and then the light blue hits for the sock liner. Down on the insole, you can see it looks like grass or something like that. On the midsole, it's got these little hits of green, and I believe that is to represent grass, but I think these came out so beautifully. This is going to be the most expensive pair on this list if you try to get these for resale. I got these initially from the Bricks & Wood website, and they were really easy to get. Then whenever they dropped on the New Balance website, I think they actually sat for a little bit. They ended up selling out pretty soon, but I think they sat for a minute. And then right after people started getting their pairs, the demand went way up, and now they're really expensive on the resale market if you want to grab a pair. I think in my size, these are going for over $400 right now. One thing that I didn't realize before I grabbed these was this was inspired by his grandmother's house, and I'll look online and see if I can see a picture comparing the shoe to the house, because I think he posted it on his Instagram or something like that. And there's somebody holding the shoe right in front of it, and whenever you look at the shoe compared to the house, you can see how well it came through on this shoe design. They are a little bit crazy. The 9060 has that chunky midsole. It really reminds me of almost like a Yeezy style or something like that. But the quality is absolutely bonkers. The design is very clean, but there's a lot to it. This whole collaboration really felt like a breath of fresh air, and it really has the feeling of something new, not like everything else that I have in my collection. And because of that, this was one of my favorite New Balance collabs for 2023. Next up, we have the Bodega 610. This one was called the Path Less Taken or the Trail Less Taken. I'll put it up on the screen to confirm exactly what it is. But basically, this is a Bodega and New Balance collab on a trail shoe. This is a silhouette that basically you can wear anywhere, but if you happen to find yourself in the woods on a trail, they'll be well equipped for that as well. As you can see, we've got some dual branding on the box, but it's nothing really fancy looking. Here's a look at the tag. These were actually really easy to get whenever they dropped, and I think of the three that I'm looking at today, this is probably the most affordable. But once again, enough of that packaging. I think Bodega really came through on this collaboration. You can see the Bodega style in it, just with like the purple and that turquoise color on the base, but I think these things are phenomenal. They're very busy. There's a lot of colors going on, and these came with 2 or 3 extra lace options. I think at first they came with bungees already in the shoe, and I didn't care for them too much, but I really like the extra lace options that they gave us. This is kind of like a mustard yellow, and you also see those accents on the inside of the shoe in like a nubuck material. But you've got all kinds of different materials that make up this upper. The base is like a turquoise ripstop, and then on the toe, it's got a real hard, thick rubber, but it looks really neat. It doesn't look out of place there, but I think that'll help kind of protect the front of the shoe. It's got little hits of reflective like we're used to seeing on New Balances. But then moving back the shoe, we've got a whole bunch of different overlays of suede and nubuck, and it just has a really nice look. These things do have premium materials on them, but I wouldn't say that it's as premium as like the bricks and wood pair that we just looked at. You might look at these and think that there's too much going on with them and that they wouldn't be easy to wear, but this was actually one of my most worn pairs of this summer. I think these came out in June, and I found myself going to these quite often. This was one of those pairs that I just left by the door because I could just slip them on with just about anything and they look good, whether it's jeans or shorts and a t-shirt. They just really went well with everything, and I think that's because there's so many colors in here. They also kind of take me back because they give me like 90s ACG vibes just because of that purple color, and I know Bodega uses that a good bit, but the purple and turquoise and the mixes of gray and blue, they really just do kind of give me that ACG feeling, and I'm all about that because when I was a kid, there was a time that ACGs were really, really cool. Like I said, this was my most worn pair on the list, and aside from 2002 Rs, this was probably my most worn pair of New Balances this year, and I just really like these. I think Bodega did a great job. I love how interesting the design is, and once again, it's fresh. It's not like everything else. It doesn't feel like something that you've already seen a million times before, and it doesn't feel like something that everybody else is doing. Because of that, this is number 2 on my top 3 New Balance collab pickups of this year. All right, before we get to number 3, I would like to talk about an honorable mention, and the reason that this one isn't in my list is just because I couldn't get my size of them. And I saw a lot of people afterwards on my review of this pair saying, go back and get your size, they're affordable, and prices did come down. But by the time you pay fees and all that kind of stuff on GOAT or StockX or eBay or whatever, you end up paying 50, 60, 70 more than what the retail price is. The pair I'm talking about is the Action Bronson Baklava 990 V6. Then there was also a Lupus, I forget what it was called. It was inspired by the Stone, and it has like a turquoise color, but I should have looked up the name of that. I'll put that on the screen as well. However, that would have made my list, but I couldn't get my pair for retail. With so much heat dropping and with so much being relatively easy to get, I didn't feel the need to pay resale prices on very much this year. I think this year was a great year to bulk up your sneaker collection and do it affordably. A lot of times the shoes that are real hype that everybody wants and everybody's saying, oh, you gotta have this, you gotta have this, it ends up driving the price way up. And for me, with 3 kids and a wife and a mortgage and vehicles to pay for and everything else, it just doesn't make a lot of sense for me to pay resale for many shoes unless resale drops below retail. But all that being said, I would like to give an honorable mention to the Action Bronson 990 V6s this year. I think they were phenomenal. I love the design of those. I would love to have that pair. I just don't feel like paying resale, even if it is lower than what resale has been in recent years. I don't feel like paying anything above retail price for those because they start out at over 200 bucks. For me, that price is just pushing it a little too much. But all that being said, let's get to this last pair. Alright, so this pair dropped in October, and I actually didn't even realize these were coming back. This is the second time we've seen this shoe released. The first time was in 2013, and this is a collaboration between Concepts and New Balance. They call these the C notes because Concepts drew their inspiration from the redesigned $100 bill. And that came out in 2013. This pair of shoes we first saw in 2013. This is a 998. It's one of those made in USA pairs of New Balances. This year they re-released this collaboration in October just because it was the 10-year anniversary of the first time we got this pair. You can see the top of the box looks like it's money, and I love that. You can see the New Balance there in the middle, then we've got Concepts on the edges, but the whole box, once again, we see the dual branding. Here it even says that it's the 10th anniversary, and just like the other two, we also see the dual branding on the paper as well. As lovely as that packaging is, I think this pair of shoes is even better. I think this is one of the most beautiful New Balances I have ever seen. The C Notes is a pair of New Balances that might be in the conversation of the best New Balance ever to a lot of people. I was not really following sneakers that much whenever the first pair dropped back in 2013. And a couple of years later, whenever these really came on my radar, by then the resale price was way too high. I think for a while this was a shoe people were paying up around $1,000 for. I forget what retail was. It was over $200, so they definitely were an expensive pair. However, the materials on this are phenomenal. And all of New Balance's made in USA lines are pretty expensive anyway, so it wasn't really much more expensive than them. But for a shoe to be inspired by the new $100 bill, I just think these are very wearable, but at the same time, you can still see that inspiration. Hits like the little blue areas that are like the security strip in the $100 bills, and then also just the combination of green and tan. A lot of those little features like that bronze really highlight the security features of the new $100 bill. But overall, I think these things are just beautiful. Much like the Bricks and Wood collaboration, materials are just as premium as can be. You can tell whenever you get them in hand, but also just by looking at them, you can tell that materials that they used are really next level on this pair. I love the way all the colors go together. I love this retro runner style, and for me, being in my 40s, you know, being a dad and a sneakerhead at the same time, I really get excited about pairs like this because it's just so wearable, and I feel like the style just goes along with my wardrobe very, very well. And I don't think you have to put a whole lot of effort into getting these matched with an outfit. I think you can dress them up, you can dress them down. They're comfortable enough. It's not the most comfortable New Balance, but they are comfortable to me. They did come with several lace options, so you can mess with that. And all in all, I just think this collaboration was done very well. people who have both pairs say that this pair is really close to the first pair. I don't think the first pair had the Concepts branding there on the side, but I think colors were really close to the originals, and once again they gave us really top-end materials like they did in the original release. And because I wanted the original release for years now, it felt really good to grab this collaboration this year, and this is without a doubt one of my top 3 New Balance collaboration pickups of 2023. That makes my list. I do have a definite favorite out of these 3 pairs of shoes, and I'm not going to tell y'all what that is right now because I'm probably going to do my top 5 favorite sneaker pickups of 2023, and one of these pairs just might make it into there, and I don't want to ruin the surprise. Anyhow, let me know what you're thinking about New Balance. Let me know if you've started adding New Balances into your collection or if you've been rocking them for a long time. Let me know what you think the best New Balance collaboration of 2023 is. Let me know what your favorite New Balance model is. Just share your opinions with me. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. But anyhow, that's my top 3 New Balance collaboration pickups of this year. Let me know what y'all think, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.